Hi everyone, today's video I'm going to be talking about my equipment that I use for taking property photos. Some of you may know that I have been uploading property photos onto my Instagram, and I get a few comments of people saying, what lens did you use for this, how did you shoot this, etc. So I'm going to make a series of these. This video I'm going to be talking about the equipment that I use to take my property photos. So essentially, what's in my bag. So firstly, what type of bag do I use? I use a low pro bag, AW350. I'm not sure the exact model. I'll have something maybe here on the screen. I've had this bag for many years and it does the job. I'm due an upgrade, so I'm hoping to get something maybe nicer, something more stylish than this one. So the main camera I use is a Canon 5D Mark IV. It is a fantastic camera. I absolutely love it, and from the previous video, I'm sure some of you would know that I'm a Canon fanboy. I talk about all Canon stuff, Canon lenses, Canon cameras, etc. All my stuff, mostly Canon. They just work, they're bulletproof in my opinion, and they're fantastic. My main lens that I use is a 16-35 f4 IS L lens. I had the Mark II 2.8 version, and to be honest, I didn't really like it. The corners weren't sharp enough. It felt like the corners were kind of stretched, so it didn't look as sharp as it could be. Even whenever it was stopped down to f8, it didn't really look right to me. The f4, however, I'm always shooting at f8 for property anyway, so it is tack sharp. The added bonus is the IS on the lens, which I use to make videos as well. But the 16-35, in my opinion, is probably the best lens for me that I can use to take property photos. Sure, I can go 15mm or maybe even get the Sigma 12-24, but the important thing is that I use filters on these wide angle lenses, and the 16-35 takes wide angle lenses rather than having a gel filter at the back, which is not ideal for me because sometimes I use polar A lenses or ND filters, etc. The second lens that I use is more for details. It's a Sigma 35 1.4. Depending on the size of the house, the bigger the house, I would use the 50mm 1.4, but the majority of times I would have the 35 1.4, and this lens is perfect for taking detail shots around the house, such as around chimney breasts, windowsills, or taps, sinks, and that's pretty much all the lenses I would use. Next up, lighting. Lighting is very important whenever you're doing property photos, and the one that I use is a Godox AD200. Before that, I was using a Canon 600EX RT, and there wasn't enough power in this one, but the AD200 has a lot of power, and that's what I use to take all my property shoots now. With that flash, it's coupled with a X1C trigger. It's very basic, but that's all you need for trying to pair it up so it can communicate with the flash. And obviously I would have the trigger on top of the camera and then use my flash walking around the house to fire different parts of the room, the dark spots. And if you want to learn more about my workflow, you can subscribe to this channel because I'm hoping to make more videos about how I shoot property and my workflow and how I edit them. Next up is my tripod. It is very important to get a really good tripod, so I use a Manfrotto 055 X Pro 3. I love Manfrotto stuff because they're tried and tested. It's a bit like Canon stuff. I trust them. They're sturdy. My previous tripod was a Calumet tripod, and to be honest, it had little movements, and that kind of ruined my workflow because I had to align each image whenever I got home. Whereas the Manfrotto that I have with a Manfrotto head, it's amazing, absolutely amazing, and there's no movements at all, and it's sturdy. Sometimes I'll be asked to take aerial shots, so what I take is my DJI Mavic 2 Pro, or is it Mavic Pro 2? Mavic 2 Pro. It is an amazing drone with a 1-inch sensor, Hasselblad camera in front. The image quality is amazing. I use it for photo and videos. Lastly, in my bag are filters. I would use ND filters or polarizers depending on the scenario. For my lenses, DSLR lenses, I use Hoya HD Pro. For my drone, I use Polar Pro, which is a combination of ND filter and a polarizer. And that's pretty much it. One camera, 2 lenses, a flash, tripod. That's how I take my property photos. Hopefully you learned something today, but before I go, recently on my Instagram I posted up a question tab asking if you have any other questions, because I'm going to be making this video, so I'm going to answer some of those questions now. How does one get into property photos for newbies? The best thing you can do is to take photos of your own house, your family's house, or your friend's house, and that way you can build up a portfolio and also get a style or look to your photos, your own style. And then once you have that, you can send them on to property agents and say, this is my portfolio, what do you think, can you give me a shot? And then you just build your way from that. Whenever I first started, I had here and there, like a couple of houses here and there, but last year I managed to do over 150 properties. That might sound a lot to some people. It doesn't sound a lot to me because I know I can do more. This year I'm hoping to do a lot more than that, and I think that because I've built my own portfolio and my own style, I'm hoping that it's reached out to people and I'm kind of known what type of photos I do for estate agents and developers. Is it hard to make a career in photography? I'm going to say yes and no to that, because yes, it's hard because there's other photographers out there who are trying to make it as well. They're working for basically next to nothing. So it's harder for people who have a plan, what they want to do and the type of pricing they want to have, etc. You're kind of fighting with other photographers who are starting out with maybe who are lowballing people who aren't charging enough, which means that you have to charge little as well. So then once you do that long term by not charging enough, it kind of ruins your plan, and then you start to think, is this really worth it? I'm not getting that much, and I need to upgrade my equipment, I need to buy this, I need to pay for bills, etc. So yes, it's hard that way. The other part, no, is because if you have a plan and if you have a team of people or if you have friends, it's a lot easier that way. The other side of the answer, no. I did photography by myself for a couple of months and it was hard. There was no real set plan. I had a pricing structure, but once I started mixing them with friends and I built up a team, that's whenever it started to grow. So what I'm saying is, if you build up a team with a plan, yes, it can work and it can be quite, I wouldn't say easy to make a living out of it, or build a career out of it, but it can help. Obviously two heads are better than one. One could be good at sales, one could be good at the photos. You bounce off each other and it works. Do you miss us? That is a question from one of my clients in Dungannon, Tom Henry & Co, and they are one of the leading estate agents in Dungannon. They do amazing stuff, and if you can check out their stuff, I'll put a link down below. But the answer to that question is yes, I do miss you. It's been a while since I shot for you. One of the most underrated accounts on Instagram for sure. Thank you. But that's it for me, guys. I don't want to keep this video for too long. Obviously there's other lenses and cameras that you can use. It doesn't have to be this specific setup, but this is what I use, and I find my setup to be the best setup for me taking my property photos. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try and upload a lot more content, how I take photos in a property, my workflow, how I edit them, what kind of presets do I use. Obviously I use my own preset, but hopefully in future videos you can learn how I do all that. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.